Hi, so welcome back to my series for cybersecurity fundamentals. Right, so in this video, it's going to be a bit longer than the last one, right? Because we're going over more than just a few exercises. So what we're doing in this video, we're going to be configuring a web browser, in particular Microsoft Edge. So we're going to be diving into the essentials of securing our web browsers for safe internet browsing, of course. And we're going to go over 4 exercises, right? So configuring web browser security, securing not only Microsoft Edge, but also Mozilla Firefox and also Google Chrome, which is nowadays the most popular web browser that most folks use. So by the end, I'll have the know-how to secure not just one, but 3 major web browsers. And then I want to touch a bit on why web browser security matters in particular. So why bother, right? So here's the deal. When we are on Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, or Google Chrome, we're not immune to online threats, right? So from sneaky malware to privacy invasions to our web browser, it could be a gateway for trouble, right? So that's where proper configuration steps in. And I'm just going to give a brief overview of these few exercises and how we're going to cover these topics. So then once I dive into the exercise, I'll just, just dive right into them. So for exercise 1, we're going to be configuring web browser security. We're going to be diving into the fundamentals of that security, and we'll explore the common pitfalls and, more importantly, how to avoid them. And after all, a well-configured browser is our first line of defense, right, against online threats. And then the second exercise, we're going to be securing a particular Mozilla Firefox, and it's a versatile browser, right, used across various operating systems or OSs. It's our guide to unleashing the security features of Firefox, right, to fortify our browsing experience to that particular browser. So the next exercise after that one would be securing Google Chrome in particular. I personally use Google Chrome. I'm thinking about switching personally for a couple of reasons I'm not going to get into, but just going to learn the ropes to secure this browser and our internet safety, get a bit of an upgrade using that particular browser. And then we're going to also do, lastly, Microsoft Edge. We're going to tackle the latest player in the game and discover how this browser can be configured to ensure both speed and security, right? So it could be a bit of a game changer if you're unaware as far as how you can best secure your browser, particularly that you use. So just a bit of insight. We just want to remember internet security is not just a concern, it's a necessity, right? So that's it come from web browsers, emails, file sharing, downloads, or instant messaging. And being online should never compromise your data safety, right? Or our data safety. So with these 4 exercises under my belt, I'll be a bit more equipped to navigate the web securely, or you'll be able to navigate the web securely if you follow along. Some you may know as far as configuration settings, some you may not know, right? So we just want to understand that these configuration settings is why, and also we want to understand that internet security is a shared responsibility, not just on one individual, right? So just going to get right into it. Here we go. Let's see. All right. So I'm in the VM practice lab Windows 101, and I currently have Firefox open. We're going to get started on securing the Firefox web browser. All right. So I'm going to go to the menu here, go to the settings, let's go there. And then I'm going to click privacy and security, of course. And then we'll notice here that the standard option is selected by default for enhanced tracking browsing, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and select custom, right? And we'll see that several options appear in the custom section. By default, all options are selected. And for tracking content, we can click the only in private windows drop down and select in all windows. Let's see, in all windows, right? And now what this option means is that we're in the private, or we're in the in private window, which is private mode, no website will be able to track our activities. So private mode does not save the browsing session information, right? So then I'm going to scroll down and select always. for send websites a do not track signal, right? To basically say, hey, I don't want to be tracked. It's pretty straightforward. So now in the cookies and site data section, we'll select delete cookies and site data when Firefox is closed. And with this option enabled, we'll whenever we close the Mozilla Firefox window, the cookies and site data files will be deleted automatically, because a hacker can steal the cookies that may contain information that should not be revealed to third parties. Therefore, it is safe to use this option and delete the cookies and site data. Now, we also want to note, to expand on that just a tad, that cookies are used to track your browser activity, right? So when you visit a website, the web server sends the cookie to the web browser. Now, the cookie is then downloaded to the local system, and the cookie contains information about the web pages that you have visited, and we don't want that in the wrong hands, right? And we also notice that, let's see, should be somewhere on here about the amount of space we have. Let's see. There it is. All right, so we'll notice that there's about 55.8 megabytes of disk space, right? To clear this, we're going to clear data, right, which clears everything that we've browsed so far. And now that we have that everything cleared out, we're just going to see that there is, it'll show 0 bytes of data that's, so no more site data or cookies that's stored on a local system at least. And then we're going to scroll down to the Firefox will drop down in the history section. Let's see, there it is. All right, and then we see it selected, use custom setting, excuse me, for history. And then I'm going to click, right under here. I'm going to see if the option is there too, but we're going to click clear history here as well. We clear all of that out. All right, and then let's see if it clicked everything. Yeah, that's what I forgot. So yeah, so you have a few different options here as far as how much history you want to delete. Because of us changing our settings, and maybe prior sessions from websites that we visited that would still be on the local settings. I'm sorry, the local sites, right? If we did it from the last hour, then anything outside or prior to the last hour would still be available. So we actually want to delete everything. Let's see, it lets us know that. All right, oh, excuse me, just have some fruit here. All right, so everything is cleared out, and we also have our settings for whenever we're closing out the browser, for everything to automatically delete from the session that we may have open at that time. We're keeping everything clear, right? So mainly usually as long as we're clearing out the cookies and the cache, we're fine. We don't have to clear out at least the browsing history for browsing and download history, active logins from a search history. It's totally up to you, but at the very least, cookies and cache, right? That's what we want to delete to keep it out of the wrong hands. So now we're going to go to the permissions, right? And I've been doing this for quite some time as far as the permissions, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to select, let's see, block new request should be here. Where is it? Okay. Okay. So in the settings, we'll have location permissions, and we'll go here. Then block new request. There it is. I guess on this version of it, it's not right. But yeah, we're going to block new request acting to access our location. Then we're going to hit save changes. And then we're going to also do that for camera. I've been doing this since webcam was a thing, doing this. I mean, it's just to be on the safe side / paranoid because you just never know, right? Especially back in the day when a lot of us were downloading LimeWire, giving our computer a lot of malware, right? Trojan. especially when we hear the Bill Clinton quote, right? I'm not going to repeat it here, but the Bill Clinton quote, we know we got, right? And the Lord knows what was on there when we downloaded that audio, right? Thinking we were getting a good song. But we're also going to do the same thing for microphones. Block your request asking to access microphone. All right. Then we're also going to go to settings for notification. Same process, right? Same process. We don't know what's in these things, right? So we want to be on the safe side and safeguard ourselves or at least our browsing sessions through the browser platforms to protect ourselves, right? We're also going to do that for autoplay as well. Let's see. Now we're going to block the audio and the video from this. All right, and then we're good there. And then exceptions for blocking pop-up windows, right? So on the allowed website, we want to make sure that we can still access it through the labs the lab that we're currently using. So that'll be practice-labs.com. We want to say changes there, click allow, make sure I did that. I don't think I saved it here. There it is, okay. Perfect, oh, I think I did, okay. I'll just leave it there. It'll just stay there twice. Oh, so I don't know how I forgot. So we'll see that there's two different versions, right? One for HTTP for hyper transfer text protocol, and then hyper transfer text protocol secure, right? We see the lock next to a website they're at, usually was the HTTPS, right? And then let's hit save here. So I don't think there's anything to save really. And then we're going to click exceptions for warn you, right? From trying to install add-ons. And then the allowed site, we also want to place HTTPS. Let's see, we have the www.practicelabs.com, right? Want to hit allow. Okay. And then we notice that the website, as soon as I hit allow, has been added to the list. And we want to make sure we save the changes, of course. Then we're going to scroll down to the security section. All right, perfect. So we'll notice that by default, Mozilla Firefox is configured to block deceptive content and dangerous software from being downloaded, right? Which is good, right? And that'll be the end of this particular exercise for securing or making Mozilla Firefox more secure for this particular exercise. All right, perfect. So now we're going to do, using the same VM here, we're going to do Google Chrome now as far as securing Google Chrome. So we're going to go to our settings here, right? Then we're going to go same concept, same foundational concept. We're going to go to privacy and security and for those settings, and then we'll take a few steps to clear the browsing data. We want to make sure we clear everything, not just the last hour. The last hour is just the default. So we're going to clear that out, right? And then also clear that out, we'll go to site settings, right? Here. And then let's see, we should be able to see cookies and site data. Let's see. I guess they have it worded a bit differently for this version, but this is fine. All right, so now we're on the cookies and site data page. All right, just got perturbed for a second because different versions of Chrome have their settings a bit different than others. So it should be cookies and site data in one under the site settings, but looks like they've separated the two. So we'll get started on cookies. Block third-party cookies in what Google Chrome calls incognito mode, which is the privacy mode that we mentioned prior in the Mozilla Firefox settings. And we also want to do the same. Everything that everything that we did in the Firefox is pretty much the same applies here. We don't want them to see our browsing activity across different sites, to personalize ads. Features on some sites may not work, but we also want to send a do not track request, right? To make sure that that doesn't happen, right? For all the aforementioned reasons. All right, and so we've done that for the cookies. Now we want to do that for sites here. For the site data, right? Delete when we close the browser. I'm going to delete all data, right? So they have it a bit different on here than what I'm used to, because like I said, pretty much about 90 to 90% of what we do, what I'm doing in this video, I've been doing it for quite a while, personally. Again, call it paranoia or just, knowledge of what can happen, what has happened to certain people, as far as malicious intent from folks who are also on the same internet, right? So we block the third-party cookies, which are cookies are created by the website that we visit, of course, and the third-party cookies are created by the third-party websites that have images, content, or ads being displayed on the website that we're visiting. So now that we've enabled all of these, again, just like we noticed with Firefox, it also has the same settings for has settings rather, or an option for location, camera, microphone, and notifications. So we're also going to take a look at that as well. All right, so don't allow sites to see your location, right? There's no save option here like Firefox, but you get it, right? Again, same concept, microphone, location, camera, right? And we're just going to assume that the way the UI is for this, it just automatically, changes the settings. You don't have to hit save, right? But growing up with playing consoles, PlayStation, and various other ones, you always have to have some sort of memory card or something. You always want to make sure you hit save, otherwise your progress was not going to be saved next time you come to the game. Right, so I'm also looking for pop-ups and redirect. Let's make sure. Okay, so that's the default. Are we good on you, Chrome? For doing that, and automatic downloads. Let's see if that's here as well. Don't see that here. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so we're changing that as well. Then we're going to see if we can take a look at insecure content. There it is. All right. So insecure content, just to briefly cover it, it's the type of content that's delivered by the HTTP protocol. So it can be compromised by an attacker, right? And it could also have other issues. So like malicious ads, usually Chrome displays a warning when insecure content is accessed. So they usually have, around here, it'll have a caution, the exclamation point, like a caution sign. And from the more recent updates that I've seen over the last few weeks, it's now being early December 2023. Now it'll actually have a page that populates along with that caution sign that says, hey, just to let you know, you're accessing some insecure stuff, just to give you a heads up so you know what you're walking into. So that is how you secure or better secure your Google Chrome web browser for a more safe browsing experience. And we're going to move right into our next exercise here in a moment. All right, perfect. And lastly, so we're going to be, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we're going to also secure lastly the Microsoft Edge browser for a more secure browsing experience, right? So for this lab, we're going to be using a prior version of what may be current at the moment. Again, this is early December 2023. It was included with Windows 10, so I can only imagine what version of Edge this is. Haven't taken a look at it, but of course, it probably has been updated with later versions as of at least now currently in the real world. And it's usually generally considered to be a factor secure web browser, right? It's a Microsoft product. And the Microsoft Windows system. So Edge usually has an advantage over other web browsers, and it can be integrated onto the group policy with the help of a few administrative templates, which are available on the Microsoft websites for download usually. So Microsoft Edge, though, just like any other web browser, can also be configured individually. So we're just going to take a few steps to secure the Edge browser in a few steps. So naturally, I'm going to go to the settings, right? Just like with any other browser, the foundational knowledge is, again, mostly the same. Privacy and security, right? And then we're going to choose what to clear as far as our browsing data. And I don't see if it says, let's see, for how long. Just has a general, so I'll just hit clear, just for the purpose of that, because I'm not going to get too specific. I'm really anal when it comes to that. So so we can choose, as we see here, various items such as passwords and autofill forms. But we'll just, again, for the purpose of this exercise, we're just going to leave it everything at default. So now we want to click always clear this when I close the browser. Again, same concept as the prior two browsers we used. So now it's selected to on, and then we're going to click the back button here. So now we're going to take a look at the cookies drop down menu, right? And then we want to block only third-party cookies. We don't know what those third parties are up to. We don't know if this malicious adjacent sometimes, right? Because even though you may not be obtaining my data, like information from my session, to have not necessarily malicious intent to hack my computer, keylog, or any Trojan or any other type of malware to inject into whatever device I'm using, but also just for advertising and marketing, right? Just to get me to buy something you want to sell to me. You want to understand how to more effectively do that. You may get some data you may not or should not rather have access to do so, right? So next we want to make sure we click the do not send or the do not track request. Right, let's see, I want to click that on. Now, when we enable this option, right, and we visit a website, Microsoft Edge will send the do not track request automatically to the website. And if it has content from third parties, it will also send requests to these third parties associated with the website that you're visiting. So with this message from Microsoft Edge to the websites and third-party websites, they become aware that we don't want our browsing activities to be tracked. I mean, you want someone following you from store to store, right? When you're out shopping, especially Black Friday or something, or you're some big holiday and you notice someone is in a black trench coat and they're following you around from store to store to see what you're browsing, what you're looking at. It would be kind of weird, right? Kind of weird. So now we have that request slider on, and we're going to go down to the security section, right? So we're already blocking pop-ups, which is good. We also have the Windows Defender Smart Screen to help protect us from malicious sites, right? So that's good. So now we're going to go to passwords and autofill, right? So looks like we have autofill on, saving cards. I typically don't like that personally. Let's see. Passwords remembered, password managers, may be okay. But me personally, I just, just want it off. Like I just paranoid, I guess, maybe, right? So now we're going to go to the advanced on the left pane here. Now in the advanced pane, you can also switch off the Adobe Flash Player, right? It's been exploited, Adobe Flash specifically, multiple times due to its vulnerabilities. So therefore, it's just best to keep it off, right? So we have that slider off. Then we also see that from the control, if audio and video play automatically on sites drop back, we're going to select block, right? Let's see. Here. There we go. I don't know how I overlooked that, right? Some sites may not work as expected as it shows here, but I mean, security is paramount in every case, not just this case, in every case, whether we're in a practice lab or doing out in the wild on the real internet, right? So now that we've completed, I've demonstrated how to configure a web browser, right? Went over configuring web browser security, and then we also, again, across multiple platforms, Mozilla, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Google Chrome on the best ways to make your browsing experience a bit more safer, right? And that'll be the